व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावः दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्ससुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पल शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोतीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदी कैवर्तकः केशवः पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटम् नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितं लोके सज्जनषट्पथैरहरः वेपीयमानं मुदा भूयाद्भारतपङ्कजं कलिमलप्रध्वंसिनः श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः. We now go to Gita. Om Shri Krishna Paramatmane Namaha. Atha Shashtodhyayah. We read up to verse 18. We will read 17 and 18 and then go to 19. Yuktahara viharasya yuktacheshtasya karmasu युक्ताहार विहारस्य युक्तचेष्टस्य कर्मसु युक्तस्वप्नोपबोधस्य योगो भवति दुःखः युक्तस्वप्नोपबोधस्य स्वप्नावबोधस्य योगो भवति दुःखः. So a controlled lifestyle, a disciplined lifestyle in ahara, in eating, in entertainment, in other pursuits, in sleeping, okay, in waking up, everything you follow a certain discipline, self-discipline. It's not an imposed discipline. It's not an injunction. It is a self-discipline. Living a self-disciplined life. This is yoga, and this leads you to dukkha, destruction of sorrow, free from conflicts, relatively. Okay. Next one. Yada vinayatam chittam atmanyevavatishtate. Yada vinayatam chittam atmanyevavatishtate nispृहः सर्वकामेभ्यः निस्पृहः सर्वकामेभ्यः युक्त इत्युच्यते तदा. So yada vinayatam chittam, okay, the chitta which is very disciplined, which is very disciplined. And the disciplined chittam, in this disciplined chittam, okay, nisprihaha, the pressures of my desires, my karma, my likes and dislikes, those pressures, they don't run my life. They don't run my life. Pressures don't run my life. Okay. Then we go to that verse number 19, in which the teacher gave a upama. Yatha deepo nivatastho Yata deepo nivatastho नेङ्गते सोपमा स्मृता योगिनो यतचित्तस्य युञ्जतो योगमात्मनः. Whole verse. यथा दीपो निवातस्थो नेङ्गते सोपमा स्मृता योगिनो यतचित्तस्य युञ्जतो योगमात्मनः. This was verse number 19, which we read last week. It says, the lamp, Deepa, in a protected enclosure, Nivatastha, na ingate, does not flicker. Okay, in the same way, the meditator's mind, protected enclosure is self-discipline, is able to do Atma Dhyanam without disturbance, without distractions. There is an element of deliberateness here. You have to deliberately drive out distracting thoughts. You have to provide a disciplined environment, the disciplined chitta, yata chitta. In that chitta, in that disciplined mind, Atma Jnanam happens without distraction. This is what the teacher tries to do. See, it takes time for these thoughts to settle down. Thoughts will be distracted on and off. When you do Aham Brahmasmi, something will disturb you. Some noise, something will disturb you. Okay? We have to remove these distractions as a constant effort and bring it to Eka Chitta. It is will and effort based, we have to understand. I'll close my eyes and I forget everything. It doesn't happen like that. A lot of people say when I close my eyes, all kinds of thoughts come. I have to struggle. Understand you're on the right track. So when I close my eyes and try to do dhyanam, there will be all kinds of thoughts. And these thoughts you have to deliberately push away. Okay, there is a will effort involved, there is effort involved, but done regularly. You have to do it regularly. Not in Tamil, they say, once in Adi and once in Amavasya, once in a life, once in whenever time permits. Okay, it is not done like that. When done over a period of time with focus, it gains a certain momentum. Okay, and that momentum that you get is the whole thing. Dhyanam gets into your subconscious. This is the dhyana bhalam. Okay, which the teacher is going to highlight the next few verses. Dhyana Swarupa, Dhyana Phala are explained in the next few verses, which we shall read. But before we read, let us have a little, what do you call, a certain prelude to verse number 20. Before we go to verse number 20, let's do a little prelude. There are 4 stages in Nididhyasana. We saw Ashtanga Yoga, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara. We saw these 5. Then they saw about Dhyanam, Dharanam, Samadhi, 8. But the Samadhi is divided into 2. So there are 4 stages when it comes to the, what do you call, the meditative part, the peak of Nididhyasanam. First is Dharanam. Okay, correcting and focus. Dhyanam, Manasa Vyapara on that. And then we come to Savikalpa Samadhi, and the next is Nirvikalpa Samadhi, 4 steps. The first 3 steps are progressive. Okay, first 3, Dhyanam, Dharanam or Dharanam, Dhyanam, Savikalpa Samadhi are called progressive steps, and Nirvikalpa Samadhi is called the culmination, is the destination. Acha? In Yoga Shastra, in Patanjali's Yoga Shastra, the object of meditation is different. And in Atma Dhyanam, the object of meditation is different. We have to be very, very clear here. No, don't let's confuse this. Why we should not confuse, I will cover. In Yoga Shastra, Nirvikalpa Samadhi is the goal. You go into Nirvikalpa Samadhi and they say you have reached. Okay? In Yoga Shastras. So Vikalpa Samadhi, Nirvikalpa Samadhi. He is in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. It is considered a goal. Whereas in Vedanta, Nirvikalpa Samadhi is not the ultimate goal. Very clear. Samadhi is not the ultimate goal. Nirvikalpa Samadhi is not an ultimate goal. Why? The goal is internalization of what I have learned about my own self. So far, it is still in the unassimilated stage. Nirvikalpa Samadhi is that what do you call destination in which I do the internalization of the learning. Okay. Before I come to Nididhyasana, before I come to that stage of internalization, I should have done long Shravanam. Okay? Long Shravanam. And what do we say? Long Shravanam? Steady? You should be able to say it like that from memory. Systematic, regular, consistent study for a length of time under a competent Acharya. Shravanam. Long Shravanam. And longer Mananam. That is, the Vedantic aspect should not be in doubt. Your Shraddha and Bhakti in Vedantic scriptures should not be shaky. Will it work? It's not working. It should not be shaky. Then you are fit for vichara. So, you should have done a lot of Shramana Manana. And through Shravana Manana, we have received a lot of knowledge. We have to understand one more thing. In Nididhyasana, in the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, I do not gain any new knowledge. Okay? It is not meant for elimination of thoughts. I have no thoughts. No, that is not the purpose of Nididhyasana, Vedantic meditation. Then it is not meant for any exotic experience. The goal is dwelling upon the teaching and internalizing the teaching, making the teaching yours. Okay? I look at myself and I look in a different way altogether. There are two perspectives. One is I have been looking at myself as I am a jiva. I need moksha. Okay? Clear. Moksha is not an event which is going to happen in time. Moksha is not an experience. Moksha is freedom from the sense of smallness, from the sense of limitation that I have imposed on myself. I have thought myself to be a jiva. Moksha is knowing that no, I am Atma. That is moksha. And in Vedantic meditation, I consciously and deliberately change my perspective about myself. Sit down and start thinking. I am a conscious being. Okay, let me add one more thing here. Posture is not important. Posture is important when you are doing Yoga Shastra meditation. When you are doing Nididhyasana, posture is not important. This posture is perfectly okay. This posture is perfectly okay. Any posture is okay. What is important is the thought process. What is the thought process? I am a conscious being. I am an awareful being. I am the subject. Everything else is object, including my BMS. Okay? All objects are anitya. They come and they go, including my body. Anitya. I, the subject, am nitya. I, the subject, function through the anitya BMS. Because of the anyonya ashraya, because of the closeness, because of that closeness, what has happened is I have taken myself to be the limited body. I am not the body. But because of the anyonya ashraya, because of the intimate mixture of the Atma and the Anatma, the Atma, the reflected Atma, the Jiva has taken myself to be the body. I have taken myself to be the problems of the body, the problems of the roles have all become mine. In the knowledge of reality, I have to, in my knowledge, distance myself from the role, from the problems of the role, look at them objectively. This exercise runs. You can do it in any posture. At night, if you don't feel sleepy, do this. Get up and think. Write. Read your notes. People have written volumes of notes. They can't read their own notes now. Read your notes. Rewrite. This is the process of nididhyasanam. You have to remove Jiva Bhava, bring in Atma Bhava. Jiva Bhava Durbalikaranam, Atma Bhava Sabalikaranam. Strengthen Atma Bhava, weaken Jiva Bhava. See at every point of time, go back today, tomorrow. Anxiety, when anxiety comes, look, anxiety belongs to whom? Is it to me, the Atma? Localize it, perhaps to one of the roles. Oh, that role has anxiety, this role has no anxiety. Not all bank depositors have problem. Bank depositors who have deposited in one particular bank have a problem. Not all credit card holders have a problem. So, localize it, localize it. This is a process of nididhyasanam. Nididhyasana is not something zoom, something nothing. If it happens, it will go away. It's not meant, nididhyasana is not meant for all this. Okay? You bring about a change in the way you look at yourself. It's a paradigm shift in the way I look at myself. I am looking myself as a jiva, a struggling jiva. Step back and look at yourself as a sakshi who is perhaps looking at a struggling jiva. Step back. And this sakshi is identical with Brahman. Aham Tat Brahma. You have to run this process in the mind. When I say Atma, it is the embodied self. When it is Brahman, it is the total self. The total cosmic being is called Brahman. The enclosed cosmic being is called Atman. In content, Atman and Brahman are just one and the same. Aham Atma Tat Brahman. Aham Atma Brahma Asmi. Aham Brahma Asmi. This thought process should go on deliberately. In due course, this becomes your conviction. This becomes your knowledge. You don't have to thereafter saying, yo, there is some Brahman. I am that Brahman. And you don't even have to say that. Okay? So Nididhyasanam is not meant for samadhi, going into a samadhi. It is not meant for all that. That's not Vedantic meditation. Okay? It is meant for the way I look at myself. I have looked at moksha differently. I look at moksha differently now. I look at moksha as something I should achieve. I should die and get moksha. A lot of people say that. I used to run a satsang in my residence in Chennai. So the gentleman, a very elderly gentleman, when I told him this, he said, I have also all along, from the age of very young age, he was more than 75, 76. He says, for more than 50 years, I've always thought that someday I will die and I will get moksha. I said, no, you can be put free now. So that bhava, that has to be changed to say, I will not get moksha. I am a mukta. I recognize that. That is the bhava change. I will get moksha. Arey, come on, man. What moksha? If I can get moksha, moksha can go away from me. I am a free being. I am an independent being. I recognize and claim that being. Oh, that is me. Do it in every opportunity. You see, you are happy for a moment, something happens, and you're absolutely happy. Just take a little few shanam and this is my happiness is shining through the rose. Nana chidragatodara stitamaha deepaprabha bhaswaram. There is a ghata in which there is a deepa, in which out of the whole some light is shining. It is not the whole light, HOLES, okay? It is the whole light inside which manifests through these holes. This Atma Swarupam is manifesting through the roles. When the role goes through a pleasant experience, you have to reinforce this again and again and again. It is not going to happen after death. After death, it doesn't matter whether I'm dead and gone. What does it matter whether I get moksha or end up someplace? Okay. So, what is called is I will achieve. It's called sadhya bhavana. It has to change to I am. I just have to recognize. It's called siddha bhavana. Okay. Sadhya bhavana to siddha bhavana. I assimilate. Okay. One more punch. Whether I like him or not, I am mukta. Whether I like it or not, I am moksha. I am a mukta purusha. I just have to recognize that. I am not a jiva. I am a sakshi brahma. Okay, this is how I do nididhyasanam. This internalization should happen consciously. I employ Vedantic teaching to get this inside my sixth system. Remember, success happens. Success is of nididhyasanam. It can be called successful only when the inner transformation takes place. If you are not convinced, understand, wasted. It should take place. That's the kind of seriousness one should attach to nididhyasanam. Okay, it is not for samadhi. It is not for going into some thoughtless state and things like that. There are some other, some other thing. We'll see that some states are there. Okay, so that's very important. Very again thing. It says Vedanta is not particular where you do, how you do. It says do. Okay, can be practiced in several methods. Posture, kuch zarurat is not important. But there are three very important types which you should remember. One is called Samadhi Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasanam. It is based on the Ashtanga Yoga, where you sit, get into a Nirvikalpa Samadhi. That means spontaneously dwelling on the Swarupa. Okay, that is called Samadhi Rupa Abhyasa. Okay, the other is called Shravana Abhyasa Rupa Nididhyasana. You recall the teacher's teaching. You switch on the tape. This talk is available. This talk number 97 or 98. Yeah, it's available. Go to the website. Every day people send me, sir, send me the link, sir. I don't know how many times I've sent the link. I download, break it up into subjects, make notes, open that video, listen to that with headphones on. That's what the tape is meant for. In fact, very often I say, I don't want to even tape it. You should be able to get it like that. So, Shravana Abhyasa Rupa. So, listening and doing it. The other thing is Brahma Abhyasa Rupa. Sit in whatever position, whatever you're doing. There's pain, no? There is pain in the system. Some pain in the, all of us will have some pain in the system, either physical pain or emotional pain. So when the pain comes, I am aware of the pain. First step. Therefore, the pain is an object of my knowledge. It does not make the pain go away. Remember that. Dukkha nasha does not mean pain will go away. If I hit my hand somewhere, it will ache, it will swell. I am in pain. Change it to I am aware of a pain in the BMS. I am the awareful being. Pain is an object. The pain has a beginning, a peak, and an end. Being finite, it has to go someday. If it is bearable, let me bear it. If it is unbearable, unbearable. If it is unbearable, let me perhaps take a painkiller. There's a doctor, you will say, no, 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 you can't take painkiller. Go see a doctor. Get all the investigations. All that are in the order of Ishvara. Treat the pain till it heals. What is that you avoid? I am in pain. I am in pain. I am in pain. I am in pain. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. You should have warned me. You didn't warn me. In Tamil, they call it polambal, grumbling, whining. ये क्या हो गया? ये क्या हो गया? You don't do that. Objectivity. Even if there is pain, unbearable pain, say, Hey Ram, Hey Govind, Hey Gopal, Uddharamam, lift me. Deenam, Ati Deenam, Balahinam. Cry to him, to Ishvara. So you manage. So when you do Brahma Abhyasa Rupa, you objectify. Shravana Abhyasa Rupa, you listen, reinforce. So knowledge comes to you through Shravana Manana alone. That alone generates knowledge. And after good study, sound study of Shastra, you understand the central teaching, reinforce the central teaching using the process of Nididhyasanam. You re-employ Shravanam and convert it to Nididhyasanam. In later day Shravanam, you are not going to learn anything new. You're only trying to reinforce. Okay? And then another very fine way of Nididhyasanam. Teach. What I'm doing now is Nididhyasanam. For handling a session of about an hour, I have to do about so many hours of study, compare notes, read this and see the meaning, see what teacher taught me. See, look at what I said in the previous verses. Connect it all up. Nididhyasanam happens. And Nididhyasanam happens, internalization process goes on. And it spontaneously manifests itself. Nididhyasanam. Okay? Then Okay, and a little further, little more aspects before we go to the next verse. In the yogic method, okay, in this method, that is this method, you aim at transformation. Okay, do any pose, whatever. The teacher says, it doesn't matter what pose you do, what do you do, but you have to bring about this transformation. What is this transformation? You dwell on the teaching, okay, or think on the teaching, and you convert it into your learning. It is not for samadhi, it is for internalization. Okay, okay. Dwelling without distraction is nirvikalpa samadhi. You just push the distractions away spontaneously. Okay, when it happens with my will and effort, it is called savikalpa samadhi. When it happens spontaneously, when it has gone into my subconscious, it becomes nirvikalpa samadhi. Okay, so conscious effort is withdrawn, the flow continues. What makes nirvikalpa samadhi possible? My purva janma punya and the discipline. The mind runs into all these areas. I know you can't run into all this. Bring it back. I don't indulge. I don't do wool gathering. What is wool gathering? Watch yourself when you have nothing to do. Watch where your mind runs. Either in some kind it should have been like that. What if this had happened? What if that had happened? Or any little thing. Only if only yesterday Harmanpreet Kaur had grounded her bat properly, India would have been in the thought process. Wool gather. And to help you wool gather, there are some social media platforms. For it reinforces your wool gathering. Or if not anything else, anxiety. You worry about something. You worry about something. Okay. And then what happens is there is something called prarabdha karma that can activate your vasanas, deep desires. I want this to happen. So all these distractions have to be managed by protecting the mind in a enclosure of self-discipline. So deliberate, from deliberate it becomes spontaneous. Okay, now let's look at verse number 20. Verse number 20. यत्रोपरमते चित्तम यत्रोपरमते चित्तम निरुद्धं योग सेवया निरुद्धं योग सेवया यत्र चैवात्मनात्मानं यत्र चैवात्मनात्मानं पश्यन्नात्मनि तुष्यति पश्यन्नात्मनि तुष्यति. Okay, now whole verse once more. यत्रोपरमते चित्तम निरुद्धं योग सेवया यत्र चैवात्मनात्मानं पश्यन्नात्मनि तुष्यति. Okay, let's look at the verse in details. Okay, chitta uparamata. Okay, what is the meaning of chitta uparamata? When the conscious mind has been quietened, chitta uparamate. It has stopped it has been quietened with effort. By what? Yoga sevaya, by practicing yogic meditation. Ekagram, savikalpa samadhi, you have achieved. Okay. Niruddham, okay. You have virtually, clamped aham brahmasmi. You have clamped that thought. You have stopped the distractions, and you have as though clamped aham brahmasmi. Thought is just a figurative expression. You don't have to clamp anything there. By will and effort, quieten the mind that scattered, bring it to focus. It doesn't happen in one day. It doesn't happen in once a week. It doesn't happen whenever convenient. It will never happen. If you want to work out, if you want to have a narrow waist and and knock off all those fat and things, it must be a daily routine, and not just go there, eat and then eat and do something, eat and come back. You have to follow a regimen. There'll be a trainer who will tell you, no, these are the things you should do, these are the things you should not do, this is what you should eat before, this is what you should do, eat after. So we have to look at all this. It doesn't happen overnight. So aham brahmasmi thought, okay, clamp out the other things. Just throw out the other things and put this thought in. Okay. And then what will happen? Chitta uparamanam will continue. The mind becomes spontaneous flow will continue. Okay. Then one more description. One knows the Atma, remembers the Atma all the time, which is obtaining in the mind as Sakshi Atmana. I am available with me as Atma all the time. Remember Dakshinamurti Stotram, Balyadishvapi, Jagridadishu tatha, Sarvasvavasthasvapi, Vyavrittasmanuvartamanamahamityanta Sada. I am awake, I am. Balyavastha, I am. Jagrit avastha, I am. In all my avasthas, there is a single factor, undismissible factor. I am that Atma. This process of thinking should start. And it will start if only we do regular sadhana. Like they say, once in a while it will not work. Okay. With the help of the mind, you do this. You remember the presence of the Sakshi in every transaction. Okay. So let's say you're doing meditation. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I am aware of the chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. When I chant this, Krishna's face comes to my mind. I am aware of Krishna's face in my mind. I am aware of Krishna's Swarupa in my mind. If Krishna is like this, then what is Shiva? I am aware of this question in my mind. No, I should not have Parameshwara thought. I am aware of such a thought. I am not ranting. I am not raving. Yeah, why do I go through so much struggle? I am aware of this thought in my mind. You reinforce it. You be in the Sakshi all the time. I am aware that these kind of situations trigger my anger. These kind of situations trigger my frustration. You are in Chaitanya all the time. Then comes this Atma is this is of the Swarup of Chid Ananda. Chid means in the form of awareness. Ananda is Ananta, limitless, and it is Shivoham, 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 spaciousness. This process should happen. Not enough if you do, there are a lot of people catch their thread. All that must have, if it's still not working, then nothing will work hereafter. Okay? During Shravana Manana, they have taught you what is this Chidananda, this Shravana Manana, what is this Chidananda, the limitless being. Dwell on that. Dwell on one more thing. I have nothing to complain about as a Sakshi. Sitting on the Sakshi, I have no complaints. As a role, I have no complaint. I have only issues. Issues call for action. Action will have outcomes. pleasant and unpleasant. Yuddhasva, I have to face them. This thought process has to run. Write it down if necessary. Write down this thought process. Use this thought process. That is Nididhyasana. It is not something that putang something will happen. Nothing will happen. The problem is you would have read some comics or you would have seen a movie in which a guru will touch a Sishya, swing, and he will become a wise fellow with a halo. See, if I could teach like this, why struggle? Come one day, all of it, on your touch, on your head. I would have got it long back from my Guruji. Okay? I have only complaints. So objectify them. I have physical complaints, I have emotional complaints, intellectual complaints. I wish I had studied. I wish I had enrolled in a law school. I'm much better. I know better law than all these fellows who have all these degrees. Family complaints, personality complaints. Okay. So I am a complaint free Atma. Okay. Okay. I am never affected by the complaints. Asangoham, I am free from the this thought process has to run in the mind. I am fine here and now. Write the process of thoughts that you will have. Write it down in a journal. Read that and then run it in your mind. Okay. I say, I lack nothing. I am not a leaky bucket. I lack nothing. Kurayondrumillai Marimurti Kanna. Oh Lord, I have no lack. Okay? Acha. Atma is complete. That is the thought process I run. It is like the Tanpura Shruti. Tanpura Shruti. Asango Aham Atma Aham Ananda Aham Purna Aham Ananta Swarupa. It is like the Tanpura Shruti. On that Sa Pa Sa Tanpura Shruti, you play the role. Underlying Aham Brahmasmi plays the role of the father. Underlying Aham Brahmasmi plays the brother's role, plays the citizen's role. It becomes C, C, C. If not, MBBS. Okay. So, first description is Chitta Uparamanam. Second description in this verse was Purna Atma Darshanam. You have darshan of your own Atma, claiming Purna Atma at the subconscious level. I am that Atma. I am that Atma. I am that Atma. Aham Brahma. It is not a japa, it is claiming. Don't say, how can I be that Atma? Put the thought process. I am that Atma. However, the Atma, I am able to objectify my body, mind, sense complex. Therefore, body, mind, sense complex is an object of my knowledge. Then what am I? I am an awareful being. What is my nature? Chaitanyam. What is the cosmic being? Chaitanyam. Chaitanyam is equal to Chaitanyam. I am Atma. I am Brahma. Atma is to Brahman is equal to Mukta. Okay, this process has to run in the mind. Not easy, but run it. That's the only way. That's the only way. Okay, let's go to verse number 21. When you do this, what happens? It is called Dhyana Phalam. Sukam Matyantikam Yattat. Yat. Sukam Matyantikam Yat. Sukam Atyantikam Yat. तद्बुद्ग्राह्यमतीन्द्रियम् तद्बुद्ग्राह्यमतीन्द्रियम् सुखमात्यन्तिकं यत्तद् बुद्धिं ग्राह्यमतीन्द्रियम् वेत्ति यत्र न चैवायम् वेत्ति यत्र न चैवायम् स्थितश्चलति तत्त्वतः स्थितश्चलति तत्त्वतः. Whole verse. Sukham matyantikam yattat buddhigrahyam atindriyam Veti yatra na chaivayam stitaschalati tatvatah. Okay, now let's look at the meaning of this. The third description, the first description was chitta uparamanam, meaning quietening of. This is the phalam of nididhyasana. When you do dhyanam, when you do nididhyasana, this is what you will get. Tangibly you will get. Chitta uparamanam, purna atma darshanam you will get. What other things you will get? Okay. We eke out some kind of happiness from people, position, possession, body, and the mind. Pancha anatma. So for us, these five and the transaction that these five have, they are the multiple sources of happiness. We have to understand the nature of happiness. This is a finite vastu. It cannot be the source of permanent peace, security, happiness. First conclusion. Let us progress a little further. When I look at this object, I want this object very badly, and now I have this object. In the presence of the object, the scattered mind is no longer scattered, it is focused. So when the mind is no longer scattered in the obtaining or possession of an object or a person or a situation of my choice, the projecting mind is quietened. In that quietened mind, I see my own Swarupa. I understand this. Therefore, this object is not the source of my happiness. I am the only source of happiness. In the possession of this object, my projecting mind, which is preventing me to see myself as a happy being, is quietened. And in that quietude, I see myself as I always am. This is how I run my thought. Okay? I am the only source of happiness, and that is Atyantika Sukham. Cannot be compared. Atyantika Sukham. I am the only source of happiness. There aren't many sources. That there are many sources is just an illusion. That is what I should be free from. That this world can give me happiness. The world is incapable of giving you happiness or sadness. The way you look at the world, your happiness is covered. When your happiness is covered, dukkham comes. When happiness is discovered, dukkham goes away. There is pain. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. Dukkham is inevitable. Dukkhi feeling you need not have. Doesn't come overnight. Okay? The teacher goes further and gives you a big punch. He says, the entire Srishti does not have Sukha Lesha. It does not have even a droplet of happiness because it's an Anatma Prapancha. Can this give you happiness? What happiness can this give you? In its possession, you don't see yourself as an unhappy person. You see a lack is as though filled up. Okay, the finite cannot have ananda. The finite cannot have limitlessness. The infinite limitless is me. This process has to run. So ananda, anando brahma iti vijanat. Know yourself. Anatma does not have a content called joy. Anatma can do only two things. Okay, it can give you pain, nothing else. Okay, Anatma can do only two things. It can give us pain, and Anatma can now and then help. That's a good job. It can now and then help in the manifestation of happiness in our mind. Something, a good event, anatma, but it can help in the manifestation of joy. At that point of time, what you do, you don't attribute it to the object, you attribute it to the quiet, the chitta uparamanam that has taken place, which has make you see yourself as a pleased person. It can make come to Anandamaya Kosha. Ananda is not produced, it manifests itself. That's what the teacher wants to drive. Like a mirror, it does not produce a new face. Okay, remember, it doesn't produce a new face. It reflects the face and it looks like as though there is another face. No new face. Okay. Atma alone is Ananda Swarupa. Anatma can give temporary reflected Ananda now and then. This is not permanent. So that's why they say, don't lean on people, possession, objects, body, and mind for permanent peace, security, and happiness. They have utility. They have the utility in make you see yourself as a happy person. See, reword it. This gives me happiness. No. This makes me see myself as a happy person one now and then. Look at the reword. This person makes me happy. In the presence of that person, I see myself as a happy being. Just reword and see how it works. Okay? And whatever you have learned, this is what you have learned in Shravana Marana, run it in Nididhyasanam. Okay? I am limitless Ananda. I claim this limitless Ananda in Nididhyasanam. Okay? Sukham, limitless Ananda. Atindriyam, it is not a sensory pleasure. Buddhigrahyam, it is to be understood as I am the source of all happiness. Veti, remember, I am the limitless Ananda. It's my reflection that I see. I am the original Ananda Swarupam, and that is Atyantika Sukha Prapti. Okay, driving home the point, the teacher said, don't look for experiential Ananda, it happens. When experiential Ananda happens, understand it is my Swarupa which is being relieved. All Ananda is only a reflection of my Swarupa. The limitless Ananda, that is me. This has to be known. This has to be understood. This has to be owned up. Okay? And this person who has understood this limitless Ananda, when I say if I practice this, means if I constantly reinforce this, it will be deeply registered in my mind, in the subconscious. I will never ever miss it. And that position is called Tattva Nishtha. I am abiding in the reality that is my nature. It becomes a fact and I don't lose Aham Ananda ever. Everything else is Dukkha. This is true Ananda. Anything giving joy, remember, is not from the thing. It is my own Ananda Swarupa manifesting itself. Whenever you are in a joyful mood, go back, think. This object has helped manifest my Ananda Swarupa. Fine, so I'm happy with this. Then immediately go into your Ananda Swarupa. This is my Swarupa. This is my Chaitanya. I've heard it. Only because of Purva Janma Punya we have come to Shravana Manana. Otherwise, we would never get it. We will go about saying all this is based. Okay? And I am in the form. The teacher says, Ajnani never misses this knowledge. Ajnani abides in this knowledge. Okay, he has gone through long Shravanam, longer Manam, and he has gathered this knowledge, and Vedantic meditation helps in assimilation of the knowledge that I have acquired. With this, we end verse number 21. Little more details are there. We will go up to 22, 23 and see what is the benefit. There are 5 benefits from Atma Jnana. So we will see the 5 benefits in the coming lessons. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahisha Gobrahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyah Prithvi Sasya Shalinim Deshoyam Chobarahitah Brahmana Santu Nirbhaya Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः. स्वामी दयानंद महाराज की जय हो. पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय हो. बजरंग बली की जय हो. We'll meet Friday next one.